Hello, I am Super Orange Cat. Here I am today with Toonami's ratings from December 5th, 2020. Let's start at the top of the block. At the top of the block, we have Dragon Ball Super at a 0.21, Sword Art Online War of the Underworld Part 2 at a 0.14, The Fire Force at a 0.14, The Assassination Classroom at a 0.15, Gemusetto Death Beats at a 0.11, followed by a 0.09, Naruto Shippuden at a 0.09, and Demon Slayer at a 0.11. Overall, this was a very ugly week for the block on Toonami. And I've been having this refrain for the last so many weeks saying that Assassination Classroom needs to be moved up in the block. I hold true with that. However, I've also been saying it should lead off the block. This week might have been a good point to show why, although Assassination Classroom definitely should be moved early in the block, it maybe shouldn't be the lead off go to the block. Because, like I said, what I want to point to is Dragon Ball Super at a 0.21. This is kind of where it's been. It's been like 0.20 to 0.23-ish for most of its run as a rerun on the block. It was getting like far higher ratings when it was premiering on the block about a year or two ago, but now as a rerun, it's going to only pull in these numbers. But and one thing that baffled people for a while regards to Toonami was the fact that Dragon Ball Super, it would have these high ratings, but they could not find a show to go after it that would retain it and to keep the ratings high throughout the rest of the night. But with the reruns already starting lower, this usually has not been as much of a problem. We haven't been hearing a lot about retention that much the past year or so, since at least after the end of My Hero Academia season 4 airing on the block, you know. But this week, it gets noteworthy where it drops a full third of your total audience from show to show. And it does so here. You have a drop of 700s going from the already low Dragon Ball Super to War of the Underworld. And War of the Underworld is a world dub premiere. This is the first place on Earth that the English dub is airing. And in many ways, at least in theory, should be the crown jewel of the block right now. However, it's not pulling in ratings like a crown jewel of the block would, you know. And after you have Fire Force, which is a television dub premiere, because I believe Funimation now you can already watch these episodes dubbed. You're getting also a 0.14. Actually, if you look very closely, like Showbuzz Daily ranks, even among shows that have the same number rounded to the 100th, I believe that Sword Art Online was just a tiny bit ahead of Fire Force. So you could say, well, rock solid retention, yeah, but it kind of doesn't matter as much if you're starting from a very low point like Sword Art Online already was. And then after you have Assassination Classroom at a 0.15, which that's, I guess, is the winner of the week for me, in my opinion. I mean, that's not really a high reward. No one did well. So the 0.15 for Assassination Classroom is still a bad number. But it built on a world dub premiere and a dub premiere for a show that at least people on their Toonami fans have been really looking forward to in Fire Force Season 2, you know. But again, an Assassination Classroom has shown it can get an audience of its own, an audience separate from the standard Toonami audience. And I think if you move it earlier in the block, it can get good ratings. Like in that regards, Assassination Classroom, at least as a show, from what I've seen, reminds me a lot of My Hero Academia. And I think the fan bases have a good deal of overlap too. And you have My Hero Academia, who always pulled in good ratings for the block, unless it was put at like a weird time slot, which time or two it actually was on Toonami in a weird time slot. My Hero Academia was always pulling in a good number week after week after. It's because that show is a giant established fan base. I'll watch that show anytime. And Assassination Classroom, well, this is the only place where it's airing on TV. And I think a lot of people just really like the idea of having this show, which is about a decade old already, being on the block because it's not a show they're like repeatedly rewatching already. And it's something that a lot of people really did like when it first came out, and they still like to this day. And that's why I think it's pulling in these relatively decent numbers, albeit in context of where it should be, it's kind of a bad number. But again, and then you have Gemusetto Death Beats. I officially think this show is a worse decision than Genlock. I was saying for a while, oh, this is a bad decision. It's like Genlock. It's worse than Genlock. No, I 100% mean it right now. This show, people at the time complain about how bad the ratings were when Pop Team F was on the block. And you could talk about, well, there was a year or two of cable cutting. By comparison, Pop Teen Epic consistently pulled in like 0.16 to 0.18, and everyone said that was a disaster. Gemusetto Death Beats is pulling in barely a 0.1. I find this to be absolutely hilarious. It's almost universally reviled among like the Toonami fan base. And that one weird week where it appeared that I guess like the Adult Swim fans were watching, I guess they didn't stick around because the ratings have been plummeting ever since. We get we get 2 more episodes of Death Beats next week, and then the final 4 episodes will be airing in a 1 hour block on December 19th. That will be also preempting Naruto Shippuden that night. I've been told that the episode that would air that night was actually going to be like a pretty important episode of Naruto. I don't follow Shippuden, but I've been told by people that that episode, which they're I guess now going to be kind of happy because it's like, well, it's going to lead off the new year. It probably will actually. You know, January 10th or whenever the second Saturday in January is. That's when you're going to have a normal schedule because, like I've been saying, the Saturday after Christmas and the Saturday after New Year's will almost certainly be marathons, with almost one certainly being Cowboy Bebop, probably the Christmas one. But again, Gemusetto Death Beats is taking the early express out of here, and a lot of people think good riddance, and personally, I do too. And then afterwards, you have Shipping at a 0.09. I mean, it was just stuck behind Gemusetto. I can't fault anything Naruto does because of that right there. And then you have Demon Slayer actually building a bit to 0.11. Demon Slayer also has that type of fan base, kind of similar to an Assassination Classroom, kind of similar to a My Hero Academia, where you could throw it wherever you want and you're going to get a number you're going to really like. And for 3:30 in the morning, a 0.11 isn't atrocious. So I think, and again, who cares about ratings at 3 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday? But again, overall though, just the mid block, the heart of the lineup of like Sword Art Online, Fire Force, and Assassination Classroom, it needs to be like 0.18, 0.19, I think. These shows need to be to at least be seen as good ratings in my eyes. But being this low is scary, especially when Dragon Ball Super isn't dropping more. It's kind of being steady around this like low 0.2s number. To see that be steady and have everything else below it still drop really is kind of scary. Another interesting thing is, and you kind of see it here, at least hinted by Showbuzz Daily, how last week was a week off from Toonami because we had the Primal Marathon, and as far as I can see, they have not anywhere released the ratings for that marathon. Is because it was right after Thanksgiving, I guess, or yeah, right after the weekend after Thanksgiving, and I guess no one got around to it. And it's not high priority. Usually they go out of the way to not report marathon ratings unless they really have to. And as far as I can tell, no one really has yet. But again, disappointing week for Toonami this week. Assassination Classroom should be moved up in the block. At least should be right behind Dragon Ball. I think it would do really well there. It would hold Dragon Ball better, in my opinion. Or at least it holds its own fan base really well. So what do you guys think? What's your opinion on the block right now? Which show are you excited for coming in the future? 2021 looks like it's going to be just chock full of possibilities for Toonami. We already know that we're guaranteed to have, we're at least being told 3 original shows will air that year. Probably just 2. I don't think Blade Runner is actually going in 2021. There's a lot of like big name anime shows having new seasons early in this year. Like Attack on Titan just started its new season. We know not Dark Souls. What the hell am I saying? Doctor Stone is having its new season come up soon. The Promised Neverland has its season coming up soon. I'm particularly excited for that one. And like a lot of the other things too. I think My Hero Academia is going to have season 5 air sometime in 2021. What do you got? And also Demon Slayer season 2, I think is also supposed to be in 2021 at some point. And guys, what do you think about this block? What show are you excited for most coming to this new year? Like this content, if you want more Toonami news, ratings, content like this, please like, please comment, and subscribe. I am the Super Orange Cat, and that is all.